So within the span of the year, we've lost Shopko, we've lost Kmart. These are no big deal to me. Macy's. None of these places I went to very often. But
Nobody
it's impactful.
went to these places very often.
But it's impactful to some people.
I did go
Well,
to Macy's.
Macy's alone was 50 jobs. Yeah. That's the only thing that worries me is where are these people going to find work at?
Right.
Well, nowhere.
Right.
That's the answer.
No, well, Taco Bell's always hiring.
Yay.
Hiring smiles.
So, but yesterday I went to Spokane. I went to the Kevin Smith show and we watched that. It was a great show. But we stayed in Spokane and we don't do a whole lot in the area, but we kind of walk around downtown and stuff. And there's stuff to do. There's things going on. And obviously Spokane is much larger than where we live.
Spokane is weird though because it's so sprawling.
Right.
They have some tall buildings, but it just keeps going and going. So, I mean, like the heart of downtown where people park and
like River Park
stuff.
Square and shit, yeah.
That's hot property. Right. But outside, I'm sure it's just little Lewiston's all around it.
Right.
Shit's closing, shit's moving.
You think so? That's probably true.
I would.
Well, on the
think
outskirts,
so.
yeah. I know they have done they've done a lot of that regentrification of stuff. Like when I think we did talk about it on another show, but when you come off the overpass by Dick's Burgers there, that used to be like the hub where the homeless would like beg for money. Then they built a bunch of fucking statues where they would stand, so you can't stand there anymore. So
now they sleep in the underpasses or the overpass, like in the little
walkways.
For now, they sleep there.
They get busted up from time to time.
Yeah, the local government will find a way to put a stop.
Like every once in a while, we'll drive through and they'll be like, "Oh, there's nobody here."
Right.
And it's because they went and they've
it's super cold
cleared
too,
it out.
so some of them will die.
But some of them will die. Yes.
Well,
it's population.
That's a real thing, actually.
Right? No, I know.
They're not even counted on the census, so.
I was thinking about that though when we were going down through there one day, and I was like just watching people. Like I just kind of gazed at a couple homeless people, and I was like, "Man, what a tough fucking life." Like
yeah.
Unless you're mentally ill, in my opinion, homelessness is kind of a choice. You can go and get a job just about anywhere.
Right.
And if you fill out paperwork, the government will give you money. And we're talking Spokane, so that's the state of Washington. They will take care of you if you make an effort.
Yeah, it's mental illness and obviously drugs.
Oh yeah.
Which plays into mental illness. So
yeah, it looks. Yeah, I'm definitely not empathizing by any means, or sympathizing, I guess.
This guy right here.
But I would say it's definitely, like you said, it's something that is in many ways a choice to be homeless.
We've got one guy here in town that he goes down to Portland for a jaunt yearly and is homeless. He is a professional homeless person. I think. He was working for one of the local news outlets, doing a piece. Well, it's more than one piece, kind of like a column type of thing. It might have been like Daily Fly or something like that. Yeah,
but he does it as a career. Is it like?
Well, he just goes down there and he's homeless.
Yeah.
I don't know what he does for money. His mom lives here, and he comes back up here on occasion. I think he just lives a couple blocks from me. His mom does. I can't imagine being a professional homeless person.
No. It doesn't sound fun.
I don't like weather changes. It's either like if it's too hot or if it's too cold. Like I like the comfort of being in my home where I can regulate the temperature and the environment around me.
The thermostat is
yeah.
It's a great invention. Thank you for that. Whoever did that, whenever Dad did that.
So in my hotel this morning, I woke up to the news, and because I don't have cable anymore. I don't have any. So any of my news sources usually comes in the form of like online clips and stuff, and I probably don't get as much information as I should. But so I'm listening to the news because it's waking me up. The TV stayed on all night, and so I kind of look over, and it's like they're almost like Valley girls delivering the news. They're young. They're just millennials.
That's the local.
Yeah, the local news.
Spokane.
Yeah,
news.
it's the local Spokane news. But they're very, they're well dressed, professional sounding,
attractive,
and then the weatherman's gay, and he's like, just some of the stuff that they were talking about. He's like, they were talking about Build-A-Bear, and then he's talking about this Build-A-Bear that he had. But the clothes on the Build-A-Bear were so rough, they took the clothes off the Build-A-Bear and like cuddled with it naked when he was a kid. Like, because he was talking about being a kid. Like, these references that they're able to make about being a kid, like, them being a kid isn't that fucking long ago. Mm-hmm. I mean, the kids, they look like they're fucking 12 on the TV. They got really young voices, so that they're both so.
To get your start in a market like Spokane is pretty sweet because normally people have to start in a market like ours.
And then move
and
on, yeah.
If you have an iota of talent, like your pinky toenail has an itty bitty bit of talent, you are fucking gone.
Yeah.
Because they only like people that can't read and have no personality.
Boy, they love people who can't read on ours.
They add letters to words and it's totally changes the meaning of the word when you change the letters.
Did I tell you this story before where I actually interviewed and tried? There was a guy, I can't remember his name, but he did he was trying to start a UHF channel over in Clarkston.
Oh,
you remember about this?
I remember. He was on 6th Street.
Yeah.
And what's there now? Is that one of Finch's places now?
Yeah, probably. It's like a vape store or something, or I don't know.
Oh, yeah, it probably is a vape store. That's not one of
Probably a vape store, yeah.
but
vaping's not cool, kids. Don't let them talk you into
It's
it.
dumb.
It's really dumb.
So I went down there, and it's like their setup was really close to what we have here, and while it might look beautiful on tape to the viewer,
What year was that? Like 05, 06?
God,
07?
I made headshots.
I worked at the cable company at the time, and I hooked up their internet.
It might have been 9 or 10.
Oh, well, I didn't work at the cable company then. But when they were first getting started, I hooked up their internet.
It could have been 05, but
No, I don't remember how long.
I
they
think
were
no,
open.
it was while I was working for Budweiser.
Oh, okay.
So I had gotten a email or something. They wanted me to come down for an interview, and I did like the interview, and then they wanted me to like get headshots. So I'm standing in my living room.
Were you on
downstairs?
Did you at any point were you sitting on a couch?
Did they massage your leg?
No.
Did they ask you, could you undo that one button right there? Yeah.
Bend over and take them off slowly.
I took my own headshots with a tripod,
Casting couch.
and I had like I
there,
just
done
threw on
that.
like a dress shirt and I think a tie, but I was just wearing a dress shirt. Didn't like I was standing in my underwear because I'd come home from work, so I tossed a dress shirt on and like got a headshot. Looks, I think it's on my computer somewhere.
Please find it and put it online.
No.
Oh, excuse me.
I have to hunt too hard. I don't want to. So anyway, I sent them the headshots. This was before the podcast, so it must have been like 06, 07.
Okay.
Somewhere in there. So I sent them the headshots. They brought me down for a test interview. So they had me test read.
Live read.
So I sat down and they gave me this paper, this news article to read. I still remember it. It was, they were talking about, I don't remember it that well, I guess. A camel, I think, that had 2 heads. And so I'm reading the article, and then the whole point is to be able to do like yes and shit, and to be able to kind of like commiserate and talk. So after you read the article, then you kind of turn to your co-anchor and you're like, blah, 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 blah. And then they kind of go back. And so my thing was, well, 2 heads are better than 1. And then I stop for a second and I go, that's about all I got. And then they're like,
Tom
all
with
right,
the weather.
thanks. They were super nice. And then I was out of there. They didn't go with me, obviously. But it's okay because they're not there anymore.
I would say they didn't go with anyone because that did not become a thing.
No, it did for a brief period of time. There was a UHF
super
channel.
brief,
It
and
was
no one watched
like
it.
Almost momentary. Like,
Does anybody have a TV that can pick up UHF anymore? I don't.
I do have a TV that I can watch the film UHF with.
He had a huge.
Weird
Who
Al.
wants to drink out of the fire hose?
He
I
had a
love
huge
that
pitch
movie.
for
Dude, it's a
UHF
great
too.
movie.
I don't remember what his whole thing was for it, but he had like some sort of like knowledgeable like pitch that's like
Weird Al's
selling
a
the
super
idea of
smoke
it.
guy.
Well, he
no, it wasn't
probably-
Weird Al. It was the guy that started that business. Or the,
the local guy?
He probably
Really?
had worked for.
He's like, there's a
Clue or
future in this
something.
that's coming back. Like basically, I'm like, I don't know.
Did he go into the Wayne's World theme song right after that?
He probably worked for Clue at one point though, and like had some knowledge of the industry.
Right. Well, and I don't think at that particular point in time, we all knew. Like, I'm sure some people knew, but I don't think streaming was on the forefront of everybody's mind, and being able to stream most of your
Not
content.
really, because webcams were expensive and cumbersome,
And Netflix still wasn't really. Netflix was still mailing DVDs at that point.
And yeah,
So I mean, it wasn't really.
I don't think there's really streaming.
It just
At
kind
all.
of yeah.
Because Hulu, when did Hulu come out? I mean, even that was. Remember when it was still ad free? Well, not ad free, but free.
Yeah. Hulu was what 2010,
10?
something like that.
man, you got the interwebs right in front of you.
I guess.
Yeah, fuck it. Don't look it up. That takes so much time.
I have no idea.
So UHF is not a thing.
No,
No.
and it will never be a thing again.
No, no.
Well, maybe after the collapse of civilization. We've got back up to black and white TVs.
Ward, you could be a reporter in the apocalyptic times. Hey, this is Ward reporting here for this UHF station. People are still eating each other, and I'm growing another arm.
But really, you know where that's going to be? A radio. It's not going to be video.
That's true.
Yeah.
Which you will make a cleaning.
Yeah, because the apocalypse is going to be so lucrative.
People are still going to want their mail
You'll be
too.
on the CB radio with your sweet, sexy voice. Anybody out there? This is Rick.
This is the
The
beard.
man hall.
Yeah.
This is the beard. This is Derek and Eduardo. Here, listen to Time Spent Poorly. And we're like, remember Kevin Spacey?
I'd go up to Clue and try out. I would go up there, but I'd need to shave, and I'm not going to do that.
Ward, I have, before we move on to a topic that is actually good, I do want to
Tell
tell
us
you.
the story again, Ward, about when you tried out for a UHF
want to tell you
station.
about a experience that I had that was not similar but feels similar.
Netflix started streaming in 2007.
Okay.
You know, I
you-
applied for a job once, and I had an interview, and I didn't get it. One time. Oh, no, twice. But one time, the first time when I was really desperate, Kmart.
Oh,
I applied and interviewed at Kmart, and they didn't hire me.
well, fuck them. They're closed.
And that's the reason
Why wouldn't they hire a guy like me? I'm a hard fucking worker.
How does it make sense?
It doesn't make any sense.
I was dead set on getting hired at like Blockbuster when I moved over here.
Oh, man.
I was like, this
It's a dream job, man.
and my parents always like the pragmatic ones were like, well, I mean, maybe try some grocery stores and stuff. Fuck that, I'm gonna work at Blockbuster. So I didn't work for like 6 months before I finally like caved and went to Pizza Hut.
Oh,
Well, you know
the
what?
Pizza Hut days.
I applied for. I had 3 friends that worked at Hollywood Video, and I applied for several jobs at Hollywood Video.
Because you could be a know-it-all douchebag, just like everybody
Yeah,
else.
just like them. And I could not land a job there. And actually, there's one other place I could not land a job at that I for whatever reason, I probably just my 20s seemed like a good idea. I applied for Hastings so many
I
times.
applied for
Really?
Hastings and
Could not get a job there.
I've known a bunch of people that
probably
worked at
showered
Hastings.
too much.
That's what I thought too. Because I went to the interview and it went really poorly. And as I was leaving the interview, I was like, so I guess I bathed too much. Like this didn't go well again. This didn't go well. Like I said to the manager I was interviewing with, I said this didn't go well again. So did I bathe too much or do I brush my teeth? Like what's going on? Like do I need to not brush my teeth and smell like shit to get a job here?
You need some black cavities.
Yeah.
You need holes in your teeth
Because-
you need to be missing some of your 4 front teeth because that meth mouth is
Yeah.
what they're looking for.
Because I
Shows
never-
that you're,
never
you hit
understood
rock
it.
bottom, and now you want to you want to make the
And I
best of this.
wanted to work there. I wanted to work
Now,
at
see, that's the
Hastings.
thing. You were motivated. They don't hire motivated people because motivated people don't stick around.
Right.
They get that job, they make that money, and then they're looking for what's next. And I
Stepping stone
think
work
I
and-
do believe that is why Kmart didn't hire me. Is like, wow, this guy is
He's
had
looking at this as a stepping
careers
stone,
and. They didn't know I was unemployed for 10 months and I was really getting desperate for a job.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, I wanted to work at Hastings so bad. I was like 20, 21 years old. And I applied there several times in between the age of 19 and 22. I applied there a ton and could not land a job there. Could not get a job at fucking Hastings. And I was like,
Too
all right.
motivated.
Yeah.
They were like, this guy is bound,
And I was like-
destined for bigger and better things.
It was just weird. I'm like, because they're like, well, what department would you want to work in? I'm like, any of these. I read books. I read comic books. I watch movies. I play video games.
They might still be open if they'd hired you.
Any of this stuff here.
You may have become complacent and felt comfortable where you were.
Sure.
You could work in any department and small talk people. And it isn't like a job when you're doing something you love.
Yeah. Which I
And
liked all the stuff
you-
there.
Could really get used to that $5.50 an hour.
Yeah. I mean, in retrospect, I'm glad I didn't get a job there because
Fuck yeah.
it was a terrible company and they went tits